Father God, I just thank you for this night, Lord. I thank you for the opportunity to share what's been placed on my heart, Lord. And I hope it blesses each man here, Lord. I just ask that you would use this for your glory, that you would fill me up, Lord, and that you would pour this message out. May it be your words that are spoken here. Thank you for Jesus. Amen. So last week I touched on, I talked about authenticity and sincerity.
Matt, you can take that off if you want to just lay it down.
Okay, no, I think what we can. I was saying that sincerity was to have passion as a believer, and sometimes that so much passion that causes us to overreact, and that overreaction could lead to destruction, or it could lead us to be content in being stagnant and not moving at all. That's what our sincerity is. And what I mean by that is that we're a sincere believer, but we don't put our faith into action. We maybe do a lot of lip service. And then I said that authenticity was to have the same sincere passion with the compassion of Christ. To love Christ so much that you are compelled to move with humble purpose. That you're patient enough to sit with someone who is stuck in their garbage, stuck in sin. You're patient enough to love them where they're at and be with them. So kind of today I'm going to try and wrap that up and give you some verses in the Bible and maybe some real life situations on how we can become authentic. So the first verse I want to point us to is James 1:27. James 1:27. And I cheated. I went ahead and marked them all before I got here, so I didn't have to thumb through the pages. So James 1:27. Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. Now this is important because nowadays we have maybe a welfare system, or we have foster parents and foster care, that we have programs set up to take care of these people. Back then, if you couldn't fend for yourself, nobody wanted you. If you didn't have a family willing to take you in and pick up the burden of your life, so to speak, you were done. You were homeless, you were begging for food, and you would starve and die. Kids, basically the old, you have to earn your keep. That's the way it was back then. Even if you look at some of the smaller communities around here, we have farms in this area that were passed down from generation to generation to generation, because if you were born into that family, you're a farmer. I was talking to a customer here this summer. Their 12-year-old was driving a semi-truck at 12, driving a grain truck from the field to the grain bin. I couldn't think of doing that at 12, and I drive truck. I used to drive truck, so it's kind of crazy. But so the point on here is, do you give help to somebody who can't help you back? Do you give and serve people that can't do anything for you? Can a widow really pay you back? If you give a widow $1,000, can she pay you back if you pay her rent? Can an orphan pay you back? Just by loving them, or maybe you send them to a camp like Royal Family Kids Camp, or maybe you just drop off school supplies at a donation center for foster kids. That child doesn't know who did that. They can never repay you. So do you work without a reward? Do you love when it's unthinkable, or even sometimes impossible? I've got camps that I restored from these camps, and we actually had a kid that bit a leader, and he was actually going for a kid, and the leader stuck his arm out and let the kid bite him instead. And after he was done biting him, he said, "Okay, let's go," and just moved on like it was no big deal. He loved him when it should be impossible. I don't know. I don't know if I could be too loving if somebody was biting on me. The next verse I want to point us to is Hebrews 13:16. Hebrews 13,
16. And don't forget to do good and share with those in need. These are the sacrifices that please God. Do we take time to share our talents, our time, and our treasures? Like when we got here, we had some beautiful piano music. He's sharing his talent. He's sharing his talent. For some of us, like Captain Ralph was expressing how much that he enjoys that and he likes that. But do we do that in every other areas of our life? I recently had a contractor share with me that he was working at his son's house for free, and his little nephew kept trying to get in the hole and work with him. And here this guy that's been up at 5 and he's working till 9 o'clock at night to fix this broken pipe. And we've all been there when you're trying to work on something and somebody keeps asking you questions and you just want, would you just leave me alone? But he didn't do that. Here's this kid asking him all these questions, and he's taking the time to teach him and to show him. And they're bailing water, and the kid wants to help with a little cup, and he allows the child to help. He's teaching this young man, this kid, 6-year-old kid, and he's teaching him, and he's loving on him, and he's sharing his time, his talents, because number one, he's talented at his work, and number two, it took him extra time to get that job done. But it's also a teachable moment. That young kid went away with there knowing that he was loved. So do we look for those teachable moments? Do we share our testimony? What a great platform when you start sharing your time and talents. Maybe you're helping a neighbor mow their lawn. You see they've got a broken leg and you go help him mow his lawn. What a great platform to start building a relationship. And then once that relationship's built, do you share your faith? So these are all things, and I've got a ton more here, but these are all things that make us authentic. So the next one is 1 John 3, 17. 1 John 3, 17. But the wisdom from above is first all pure. It is also peace-loving, gentle at all times, and willing to yield to others. It is full of mercy and good deeds. It shows no favoritism and is always sincere. Do we look out for our brother's best interests? Do we look out for them all the time? Not just when it's convenient, or not just because, oh, well, we go to the same church, so I'm going to look out for him. But I don't care about this guy over here. Or how about I'm white, so I'm going to look out for white guys' interests. And that's been in the news a lot lately. Do we look out for everybody's interest? Is everybody our neighbor? Right? All lives matter. I mean, that's been a huge thing right now. It's even at work today. I had a guy that wrecked a pickup over the weekend, and he had a little bit of an issue with the front end. And he goes, "Hey, if we get this fixed, they're not going to know that was broke before the wreck. So let's just get it fixed." I said, "No, that's not right. I was looking out for the best interest of the insurance company. Do what's right all the time." So and then the second part of that is, do we listen and look out for our brothers' well-being? Philippians 2, 4. Philippians 2, 4. Don't look out only for your own interest, but take interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Christ had. Again, just because somebody's wealthy doesn't mean it's okay to steal something or borrow something without asking or take advantage. No matter what the ethnicity, the race, the financial situation, their religion, it doesn't matter. We're all God's children. All of us. Even those that are not accepted, like we saw last week with that video clip. Even atheists are God's children. They just might not have accepted that yet. We've all had those things that we can't accept. So what is our focus in serving? Is it for our own gain or to expose the glory of God?
When we help others, we are really serving God. So when we put our hands to the plow, we're representing Christ, whether it's at work or whether it is truly serving somebody else. We are representatives of Christ. So Matthew 25, 35 through 40. And this is Jesus talking about the final judgment. For I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me into your home. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you cared for me. I was a prisoner, and you visited me, Then these righteous ones will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink, or a stranger and show you hospitality, or naked and give you clothing? When did we ever see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will say, I tell you the truth, when you do this to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you are doing them to me. So when we serve others, we're truly serving the Lord. But that's a heart. That's a heart condition. We have to truly believe that in here. If we come into a line of service in the soup kitchen or mowing the neighbor's lawn, if we do it begrudgingly or do it because we have to, then we're really not serving the Lord. If we stand back here and sing and go, we're really not praising the Lord. We're doing it with a false heart. We're not. We might be here, and that might be sincerity, just the fact that we're here, but it's not authentic. And so whatever we do it to glorify the Lord, and it's for His gain. You never know who's watching, right? He's always watching, but you never know who's watching, who you might rub off on. James 2, 14 through 17, and let's go ahead and turn there. James 2, 14. 14 through 17. Several different Bibles. James 2, 14 through 17. What good is it, dear brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith but do not show it by your actions? Can that kind of faith save anyone? Suppose you see a brother or sister who has no food or clothing, and you say, goodbye and have a good day, stay warm and eat well, but you don't give that person food or clothing. What good does that do? So you see, faith by itself isn't enough unless it produces good deeds. It is dead and useless. And I talked last week about I really need a babysitter for a family emergency, and somebody said, oh yeah, we'll pray for you. I've also found that I myself have run into somebody in the grocery store and they've shared something going on in their life, and you just say, oh yeah, I'll pray for you. And I can almost guarantee you that sometimes I don't pray for them because it happens when I run into them, and it rolls off your tongue, and you're like, wow, I wasn't being genuine. I wasn't being authentic. And I think we all do that. So a big challenge for me has been to make a mental note, and if I can, make an actual physical note, or pray with them right then and there. And it's not just about prayer, it's about doing it, making yourself uncomfortable, like I said last week. Are we willing to get down in their garbage with them? Are we willing to sit down and say, hey, you're struggling. Let me lend you an ear. Let me lend you a shoulder. So whom do we serve? And who will repay us? Our payment comes in heaven. Proverbs 19:17. If you help the poor, you are lending to the Lord, and he will repay you. But we can steal our blessing. I'm a firm believer in that. If we walk around going, hey, look what I just did. I served all these widows and did all this great stuff. Look at me. Hey, pastor over here. I'm the backbone of this church. Over here, pastor, look at me. Then we're stealing our blessing. The Lord, like it says, we're lending to the Lord, and he will repay us. And so we need to do everything for his glory. And when we do stuff for his glory, that loan gets interest. And it'll be paid back in heaven. So I want to leave you with this. Will you be sincere and religious, or will you be authentic and real? Christ is real. I can see him every day. If we are calling ourselves Christians, that means that we're Christ-like. Christ was real, is real. We should be real as well.